Hey everyone, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play I Can't Quit You Babe by Willie Dixon, but also it's been covered like a million times in a million different ways. I'm going to show you the most standard way to play it. This is a 12-bar blues. It's just a 3-chord song. We're going to learn the chord shapes, we're going to learn the strumming, which uses a swing feel, so it's a good opportunity to learn that. If along the way you find that you need any extra help, I have my free ebook, which it's going to help you with all the basic chords and strumming. I also have my complete beginners course, which builds on that. And there's the chord chart available for this on my Patreon page. Otherwise, let's just get started and jump right in with the chord shapes. First, we have a G7 chord. A good way to think about it is if you're familiar with the C chord, you just kind of open it up this way. So you move these two fingers there, you move your first finger out there. And that actually leads into our next chord shape really well, which is a C7. And to switch from G7 to C7, you just take those two fingers, you move them that way, one fret each, or one string each. Then you move your first finger up that way. And we can stay here on the C chord, or we can add our pinky finger to the 3rd fret of the G string to make a C7 chord, which is a nice bluesy sound. So you'll want to practice that, going from G7 to C7. Then we go back and forth between G7 and C7 a few times, eventually going from G7 to a D7 chord. And for that one, I like to leave my first finger, put it over to the 1st fret of the B string, and then place those two fingers down on the 2nd fret of the highest string and of the G string, kind of just encapsulating our first finger. That's our D7 chord. So you might want to practice that switch a little bit, going from G7 to D7. And then from there we go to C7, and we can leave our first finger down and then complete our C7 shape. So I recommend practicing that a little bit too. Just pivoting off your first finger. So that's it for the chord shapes. Let's practice them using downstrokes only, just so we can get used to the switching. We're going to count along, starting out on G7. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. 12 bars, 12-bar blues. We just repeat that over and over again, and that's the entire chord progression for the song. Now, something worth noting is in the Willie Dixon version of this tune, goes G, C, G, G, and then here, the second time we come to the C7 chord, he actually plays it for 3 measures instead of just 2. And you're welcome to do that, but in every single cover ever since then, they stick to 2 there. Sometimes that happens, you know, in the blues, the form is flexible, and in that case, he's playing 13 measures instead of a 12-measure blues, which is just something interesting I thought I'd let you guys know. Anyways, we've taken care of the chord shapes. Now let's take a look at the strumming pattern. It goes like this. And That's really simple. It's just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. We're just playing every single stroke, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The one thing is we're playing it with a swing feel. So instead of playing it with a straight feel where everything's even, we're playing it with a swing feel where the downstrokes are a bit longer. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And I think the best way to get used to that is to just listen to the music. Listening to the recording, you can hear their swing feel, which is a very incredible swing feel. These are amazing musicians. And you can just mute the strings and just play along to the song going like that. That's a really good way to get it. If you want to count it out, we can change the counting. We can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and and all the numbers are downstrokes. The upstrokes are on the and we just count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So that's a more technical way to go for it. So you can either just play with the recording and try to feel it out, or you can count it out, and if you're more of a thinker, up to you. But I want you to work on your swing feel a little bit, either way. And then we just put it together with those same chord shapes, and that's the whole song. So let's try that. We're going to add it to our chord progression. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you're really comfortable doing that, something we can do with the strumming to really make it come alive is we can just miss some strokes. So you just take your down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and you just kind of cut out a stroke here and there. And instead of it sounding like we just played, it would be more like... And that's a really simple idea, a really simple way to express yourself, but it does require you to really get used to that swing feel and, playing all the strokes first. And once you're so comfortable with that, you'll be able to kind of just lift it a bit more by taking out certain strokes, and that's what I want you to do to challenge yourself once you've, gotten used to this. Another thing that I think is really important when you're learning to play the blues, we're just going to dabble in theory a tiny little bit here. This song's in the key of G, so we go G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, over and over and over again. That's the, scale we're using for this tune. And if we number those, G is 1, A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, and D is 5. And that's where that 1, 4, 5 blues thing comes from. Just something to think about. I don't want to go too much further into that, but it's good to start reflecting on this stuff now and thinking about it a little bit at this point, because later when you do go to learn how to maybe improvise and play some solos or to be able to change keys. You know, if somebody says, oh, I can't sing it in the key of G, can we try it in the key of D? You'd be able to do it a little more easily by having some of that applicable practical theory under your belt. Other than that, there's not too much else to it. The main reason why I'm gonna start teaching some simple blues strummers is because I'm getting started with electric guitar and with improvising. So learning this is step one, you know, having the blues form down, being used to playing rhythm, because that's what you have to do 99% of the time. But then every once in a while you get to play a solo, and that's what we're going to be doing over top of this in the very near future. So stay tuned. If you need any extra help, don't forget to check out my free ebook. I have one for lead guitar as well that I forgot to mention. There's also my complete beginners course, my strumming course, and the chord chart for this available on my Patreon. Other than that, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.